So, hello and welcome to Ace Your Finance Application. My name is Clara Blackings-Pollard, and I'll be walking you through top tips if you're thinking about submitting an application to Said Business School for our finance programs. So, we'll be going through this today, and on the next slide, we'll go through what you should expect for the webinar. So, today we'll be going through introductions for our finance program team. We did talk about program suitability in our last webinar series, but we will go through that again. We will go through application checklists and top tips, the interview process and what to expect, program combinations or typical program combinations that we've seen, and of course, time for Q&A. So firstly, we just want to also remind you that this webinar will be recorded. So if you could please make sure that your cameras are muted, your cameras are off and your sound is muted. And if you have any questions, please put it into the Q&A box where we'll be answering them. This webinar will also be sent out to you in the next 2 weeks. So if you have missed the webinar today, you will receive this in 2 weeks' time. So moving on to the next slide. So first and foremost, thank you for joining us, and we'd like to start by introducing you to the team. So I'd like to hand over to Carrie, who's joining us today.
Hi, thank you so much, Clara, and thank you everyone for attending the webinar. It's great to see people joining and potentially interested in applying. So as Clara's mentioned, my name is Carrie Reid. I'm the Programme Sales Manager within Executive Education, and I look after the Oxford Programme on Valuation of Private Assets. So help curate global cohorts and put on a great programme.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Carrie. And Carrie will be answering your questions through the webinar as well, so please do reach out to us. So my role, I look after the Oxford Real Estate Programme and the Oxford Private Equity Programme. So these are the two specific programmes you can reach out to me about. But if you do have any questions or concerns, or do let me know, and we can set a consultation call with you, whether that's by WhatsApp, by electronically, or we can actually call you by mobile. So our team is here to support you with your questions and to help you with the application process. So moving on to the next slide. So if you joined our program last week, we did go through program suitability, and here are some of the common themes that we see for participants who are joining onto the program. So for valuation of private assets, the focus is on buying and selling and getting the best price, so focusing on strategies to help you do this. For real estate, maybe you're looking at doing the program because you're thinking of current and future trends, what are the risks and challenges and how to leverage your portfolio. And private equity, you're looking at the whole asset class from raising funds to exits. So you'll be looking at things such as venture capital, leverage buyouts, secondary market, to name a couple of things. So it's a great program in terms of covering the entire asset class. And so these are the common sort of typical cohorts that we see. So if you are thinking that's me, great. If you're thinking perhaps I need a couple of questions, do reach out. We are going on to the next slide. Okay, so one of the things that we find a lot with the program is you really cannot prepare enough for submitting your application. Our programs are on the website and we do provide brochures for you to look at, but sometimes they may not be very clear. So that's where we ask you to get in touch with us for conversations and consultative calls. But we're just going to go through sort of the key things to look out for pre-application, application submission, and interview preparation. So starting with pre-application, I can't stress enough how important it is to update your CV before you're joining the program. So when you are applying, we're looking for what your current role is and how it links to the program that you're applying to. So if you are thinking about real estate or private equity or valuation of private assets, please make sure that that's very clear in your CV and in your LinkedIn so that we can make sure that it's the right program for you. And also a great thing to think about is what exactly are your goals? What exactly are your objectives? And how do you think this program's going to really help you reach these milestones that you're thinking about? And once you start thinking about that, it helps you to sort of identify the program a lot more clearer. And really, when it comes to applying for the program, funding is important. So we would encourage you to think about, how am I funding this program? Is it sponsored by my employer? Am I doing it self-funded? These are the types of questions that we want you to be thinking about ahead of submitting your application. And if you aren't sure, that's when you can reach out to us and we can talk through this with you. Moving on to application submission, we are Oxford. We love language and we love grammar, punctuation, and we do look out for spelling mistakes. We do understand that English isn't the first language for a lot of participants, and we're very fortunate to have a very global cohort that come to the program. However, when you're thinking about making an application, if you're applying for the greatest job in the world, you want to make sure that everything is clear and the person really understands the intent of why you're applying. So please do look over what the application says, and if needs be, get someone that you mentor perhaps to look through the application before you submit it. And again, we're looking for really clear examples of why you want to go to this program, how we can help you, and how your responsibilities will change because of these programs. We understand these programs are very big investments for you, and it's really not so much an investment both financially and your time. So we want to make sure that you're matched really well to something that will really excel you for what you want to achieve in the next 5 or 10 years. And I would stress so much that your contact information is so important. So if you have the right email, please put the email that you're the most comfortable for us to contact you. So if you are sending a work email and you're out of office, perhaps you're thinking about actually sending your Gmail or your most personal email. We want to be able to reach you so that we can make sure we find the best time to have your interview, or if we have any other questions. And that goes for contact telephone numbers as well. So if you can put things like the dial code and full numbers very clear, whether it's mobile, office, please make sure that that's correct. These tiny little things can set back your interview because we won't be able to contact you, and it makes it very difficult for us to make sure that we are speaking to the right person. So please be clear in these sections. And I cannot stress enough, LinkedIn and CV is very important to us. We do have to verify who you say you are and which company that you work for. So these are key things to put in your application so that we know exactly who we're speaking to and the types of questions we should be asking you. In terms of interview preparation, be completely prepared to go through your application. And I know it can sound stressful, but we may ask you to expand what you've been writing because we want a bit more clarity of what you've written and how it applies to the program. So please do make that as clear as possible and be prepared to repeat what's in the application. Please don't think that perhaps because we've read it, we just have assumptions. Think of it as your first interview, so present your best self. And please do your research. A lot of participants do download the brochure, and it's really easy to sort of pick the key highlights from the brochure and just repeat and regurgitate that information. That's not what we're looking for. We want to see what you've learned beyond the brochure. And if that isn't clear, we want to understand what your questions are and how we can help you. And coming back to questions, we really, really advise you to have some pre-prepared questions, whether that's around funding, what the content's going to look like, the timetable, who'll be there, whatever your questions are, we're happy to answer them. So please bring them prepared and we can fit that into your interview. Moving on to the next slide, please. Okay. So now you've submitted your application and you're in the interview process. So these are kind of the top tips that I would advise for this section. So for the interview, it's very important that you're on time, and that's because sometimes we do run into technical issues which can be our fault or yours. So if you are running slightly delayed or something has happened, please reach out to us either well in advance of the interview or ahead, so that if we do need to reschedule, fantastic. If we have to shift the time on the day, we can look at the availability of doing that. But please try and be on time and let us know if you're experiencing, maybe there's a power outage, or maybe there's something going on with the internet, or you have a very important meeting and you just can't do those times. We're flexible, so as long as you contact us, we'll be there to help. And key questions in the interview really focus on why this program? Why Oxford? Oxford's a great institution, but why did you pick Oxford rather than Harvard? Why did you pick Oxford for this particular program? And importantly, why now? Is this the right time for you to do the program? What are the reasons that you've come to us right now? We're really interested in exploring that, because as program consultants, we actually curate the entire cohort, and we're always thinking about who can bring value to the cohort. So when we're putting it together, knowing why now really helps us to sort of think about the cohort and how it will advance your career moving forwards. And think about who is responsible for the investment decisions within your organization. So that's looking at your seniority. So a lot of these programs where our participants are C-suite, -1, 2, managing directors, entrepreneurs, lawyers, people working in the investment area, and they make key decisions within the organization, or they are being prepared to make those key decisions. So if that's you, that's a great thing to put into the interview. But what are your challenges about that, and how do you think this program is going to help you with that? So at this point, you have completed your application. Thank you. It's been wonderful to have you. And now we're moving to the application outcome. Application outcomes can be a little bit challenging. If you are accepted to the program, you will receive an acceptance letter. It's sent electronically, and it will outline the program, the dates, and terms and conditions of joining the program. If you unfortunately have not been chosen for the program, that doesn't mean to say that your time with Oxford isn't right now, but it may be in the future. So we'll always think about alternative learning journeys, so alternative programs, or thinking about next steps to get you to where you want to be. That's what the key thing as consultants we're here to support you with. And finally, I really stress that when you do receive that acceptance letter, congratulations, but please do read the contract. The acceptance letter has everything you need to prepare yourself to speak to your employer about getting your place in Oxford and what to do next. So please pay attention to terms and conditions. If you're thinking about cancelling, there's advice there. If you have to transfer, things like that, all of this is covered in your acceptance letter. So please do read it and think about it. And if there's any questions, please reach out to us. Excuse me. So funding can be a really sensitive conversation, because how does your organization deal with the fact that you got into Oxford? Hopefully, like us, they're excited that you're coming and they support your application. But sometimes this conversation can be a little bit challenging. So we would urge you to work with your organization. If you're thinking about applying in your pre-application stage, actually talk to your organization and say, this is the program I'm thinking of applying to. This is what I'm going to apply to. And I'm going to come back to you with the outcome and how can you support me? And we can help you with these types of conversations. Because when you are accepted to Oxford, the payment terms, because they're such competitive places, the payment terms are immediate or within 30 days. So understanding how your organization actually processes those payments, and if they're timely, could run risk of you having that place or giving it to someone else. So please do encourage you to work with your organization to do that. I will stress that we do not have finance scholarships for these programs, so that's something that we have to really talk about now. There are no scholarships for the finance programs. However, if you are thinking about sending 3 or more participants from your organization, we do have a corporate discount of 15% that we can talk to you about. But again, please do reach out to us if that's the situation you're in. Our point is to really facilitate this process as smooth as possible. Next slide, please. So we've talked about program combinations before. So you might be thinking, I just want to do real estate. I just want to do valuation of private assets. I just want to do private equity. They work really well as solo programs, but these are the types of combinations that we've seen work really well. So perhaps if you're thinking about them, these are the other steps after the program of thinking of taking afterwards. And I think there is a lot of merit in doing program combinations because once you do one program, you do get a 15% discount once you're an alumni to go and do further learning for the other programs. So if you're thinking, okay, I've got a gap in this section, I've got a gap in that section, these two programs can help me. Talk to us about program combinations. We'd be happy to assist. Next slide, please. So we're going to move on to questions from the audience. And if you do have any questions, please do reach out. We will look in the chat. So I'm hoping as we've been talking, we've had a couple of questions from Carrie and we can sort of explore what they are. Carrie, are there any questions there?
Thanks, Clara. There's a question here that says, if you're unsure about if the program's the right fit for me, what can I do?
That's a great question, and thanks for asking that. If you're not sure, that's so common. A lot of people see a program and they go, I really want to do it, but what about me? Am I right? Get in touch. That's the best thing you can do. That's what we're here for. Reach out to me or Carrie, depending on which program there is. And also, the great thing is with Carrie and I working the same team, we both actually have a lot of program knowledge in both programs. So we can answer for all programs as well. Reach out. We'll set up a call or and just explore why you're feeling this way and what questions you have and how we can help you decide which program's right for you. Is there any other questions there?
There's one other that just says, how long will the interview process be?
Okay.
How long?
Okay, fantastic. So when you send your application, we do send your notification of receiving the application within 24 to 48 hours. We'll be contacting you with an interview link. So luckily the interview links link directly to our calendar so you can see when we're available and pick something that's flexible in both yours and our diary, and that'll create a booking link and we'll invite you to a half an hour interview. So during the half hour, we'll ask you all about you, explore your application, explore who you are as a person and what you hope to achieve in the next 5 to 10 years, what your personal objectives are, as well as your organizational objectives. So I would say 15 minutes are really focusing on you and your strategies. And the next 15 minutes are exploring sort of the program in more detail, questions you might have, and any other sort of tiny bits that might be of concern. So it's half an hour.
Perfect, thank you. Got another one here. I intend to apply for a master's in law and finance. What would be your advice on how best to put a successful application in? Is there an interview process to that course application?
I will say that being Oxford, there are many, many courses, and although I don't know about the Masters of Law and Finance, congratulations on choosing that as a program. I would encourage you to reach out to the program consultants. The great thing is there's many of us all supporting specific programs, so reach out to that program consultant, have the time with them, ask the questions and see what they would advise, and they will let you know what your next steps would be for your application process.
They were the main questions that came in, but I know we've got some common questions which might be helpful as well.
Yeah, so next slide, we'll go through some of our common questions. So you would be surprised the common questions that we asked. And if you're looking at these questions and thinking, actually, that's exactly how I feel, you're not alone. These are the most common questions we get asked. Is this program right for me? We don't know yet. That's what we're here to explore. So please do reach out to us and we'll see exactly where you are and whether it is the right time, or whether we need to build it out to find the right time for you to do the program. Will I fit in? Well, that's a really common question as well, because we do get imposter syndrome. No matter how high you are in an organization, we still have CEOs, entrepreneurs, really, really successful people, and they think, will I fit in? And yes, that's exactly the great question. And you will fit in because we are tasked with a great opportunity to create the cohort. So we can see exactly where you fit in, and we're all about diversity, inclusion. For example, we feel really passionate about having more women in finance coming to these programs because we understand the challenges of getting funding. So if that's the situation you're in, please reach out to us about that. But the cohort is very diverse. I would say there's usually 40 people in our programs, and we see nationalities of 27 or more in the cohort. So it's very, very diverse. Do we have the right experience is a great one. Not all careers, I would say, are linear. So you may have done this for a couple of years, did this for a couple of years, and then you want to put it together. Perhaps you are thinking, I've been doing the entrepreneur route for a really long time and I want to come back and get the education that I didn't have before. We have people doing that as well. So really, if now is the time and you're thinking about it, yeah, definitely get in touch. We do get asked a lot, is there an exam? There are not exams at these programs. You will get attendance certificate for joining, and then you'll be able to join the alumni team. But there is pre-reading for the program, and the pre-reading is usually sent 6 weeks before the program begins, and that's curated by the program director. And that's just to prepare you for the program, and just get you ready to get your minds really inspired by the teaching. Typical ages can range. Again, education and learning is universal and it's lifelong. So we really aspire for people who've been in all of these finance programs. We can see participants who are 70 years old coming to the program and people who are under 30 coming to the program. And it's just because their life experiences and the experiences that they've had doing the program is so rich that they are a great fit. So age isn't really a concern, it's your experience level and what you can bring to the program, and we want to enhance that. Another question is, will there be other people from my country or market? Well, the great thing about the finance programs is they're designed to make you open your eyes to different markets. So if you're thinking about investing in Africa or South America or places that are risk adverse, this program helps you to identify those people, because they come to the program because they want to speak to you. They want to make you understand that these investments are risky, but actually there's a lot of growth, and there's nothing more important than talking to someone face to face who can really talk to you about the challenges, the opportunities, and how you can invest and how you can really diversify your portfolio and really start thinking about how to engage with these emerging markets. And another one is, Oxford is a large city. How easy is it to get around? Well, Oxford isn't the largest city. Oxfordshire is massive, but nicely enough, Oxford is very small, so you can walk around. We're very sustainable, so you can walk to everything. The campus is 10 minutes from accommodation. And our program delivery team will, on your first day, will walk you to campus to make you familiar of the area. We'll walk you to your dinners as well, and you'll just get a feel for being in Oxford. So if you like cycling, walking, and just seeing beautiful sights, Oxford is the best place for you to be. And a great question we always get asked is, what should I wear? I know it's a silly question, but temperatures in the UK can vary. And also, I think that might fit into the whole, will I fit in? It's business casual, but really come how you feel. If you feel like you want to dress up because we have college dinners, please do bring your most beautiful suits and dresses. We encourage you to have a great time. So bring what you feel is comfortable. It's business casual. It's really about the learning. It's really about the networking. It's really about engaging with everyone, really trying to take that practical learning and start thinking about how to apply it from the following week. And mostly it's about having fun. And that's what you need to remember about these programs, is they're fun. You're going to be with people who think like you or maybe think slightly differently from you, but you all have passion for the same thing. and they'll be sharing their challenges, the pitfalls, the highs, the lows in a really confidential space. And you'll be making lifelong friends because we do put you in special WhatsApp groups where you can engage with each other. These WhatsApp groups are fantastic. I see participants who are going to Hong Kong and lots of other places and asking, are you around? Let's network. So it's about building your network and enhancing that as well. So I hope these questions do help you with your application. And if you are thinking about them, or if there's other questions that aren't on there, please do reach out to me or Carrie, and we'd be delighted to speak to you. So next slide. Okay, so if you have really enjoyed this webinar and you're thinking about submitting your application, we really encourage you to do so. There's a QR code here where you can start your application. So if you're thinking about the Oxford programme on valuation of private assets, that's starting from the 14th to the 18th of October. If you are thinking about applying, we would encourage you to apply now because the cohort will be onboarding. So that means that they'll be getting their pre-reading ready for the program in the next couple of weeks. So really would encourage you to apply within the next few days in terms of that specific program. The Oxford Real Estate Programme will be running from the 18th to the 22nd of November, and the Oxford Private Equity Programme will be running from the 10th to the 14th of February 2025. Again, if you know this is the programme is right for you and you're ready to apply, we encourage you to apply sooner rather than later. These programs do get filled up quite quickly, and there may be an instance where we can squeeze you in, but actually most of the time our waiting lists start 3 months before the program begins, so early applications are really encouraged. Moving on to the next slide. So just another reminder, if you do want to get in touch with us, our contact information is there for program evaluation of private assets. Please reach out to Carrie. Email and contact number is there. And also for myself, real estate, private equity, please do get in touch. But if you're actually just thinking about applying to Side Business School and you're not sure, we also encourage you to just get in touch and we'll just start those conversations with you. But I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for sharing the time with us and allowing us to sort of answer some of your questions and hopefully putting your mind at ease. And we really look forward to your applications. If there aren't any additional questions, Harry, is there any other additional questions?
No other questions, but just to echo what you said, thanks to everyone for joining and taking out some time today. And our contact details are there, so do get in touch.
Yeah, just a reminder, this webinar will be sent to you in the next 2 weeks, so you can go over some of the things that we've discussed. And again, we're just wishing you a wonderful morning, afternoon and evening, and thank you for joining this webinar in support of Said Business School and the finance programs at the Executive Education. Wishing you a wonderful rest of the day. Bye for now.